Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey, what up, my people? Welcome to another edition of DBDS Live. First off, I want to say happy Mother's Day to all my classy, intelligent, dope sisters out there. Happy Mother's Day to you as well, Gianni. How you feeling and how you celebrating this day?
I'm feeling great. Thank you. Yes, and happy Mother's Day to every single woman out there. Just very relaxed. It's a beautiful day. I think it's about 85 degrees. Just, had a little brunch, spent it family orientated, and that was really it.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. So what kind of food was on the menu at the brunch? Tell me about it.
Okay, so it was grits and cheese, biscuit, beef sausage, strawberries, waffles. What? Oh yeah, my mother-in-law, she threw it down. Yeah. Last minute too. It was last minute, so that was the best part about it. So.
Man, well, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. You got me feeling absolutely hungry, G. So, but this is such an amazing day just to dedicate this show to the sisters out there. Now, to you fellas, I better not see a damn post from a single father saying happy Mother's Day to me as well. You don't count today, So we're going to keep the focus on the sisters, the beautiful sisters today. Other than that, I just want to say happy Mother's Day to my moms, as well as my beautiful wife. She's such an amazing mother. And also, please keep our DBDS sister Nicole in our thoughts and prayers. I know she's going through a difficult time, but listen, we see you and we got you. All right. So with that being said, today's show is titled Signs of a Great Woman. Ooh, I just love it.
What a great day to put it on, right?
What an absolutely great day to put it on, because you know what? There's a lot of women out there with substance and we need to shine the light on them. Definitely. Absolutely. And speaking of signs of a great woman, to my brothers out there, you're slipping. If you're single and if you're looking for a great woman, make sure you check out dbdssingles.com. That is dbdssingles.com. So you can meet a sister who has the same values as you do. All right. Because good, loyal, classy women still exists. All right. And also within a few weeks, we will have dearbrothersdearsisters.com. It will be up and running. You'll see my sister Gianni up there doing her personal development. It's going to have an audio podcast, great conversations, free resources, consultations if you want to set up a session to talk to one of us. Everything, the book, the mug. I'm just so excited about that. So
absolutely, it is very exciting now.
Absolutely.
New beginnings.
Absolutely. We can only go up from here, only go up. And we just went, and we wouldn't get there if it wasn't for you. To all the DBDS people that support the vision about healthy relationships and personal development and making yourself a better person, it's because of you guys, the folks out there. Because of you. All right. So before we get started, Gianni, please tell them where they can find your amazing work before we start dropping these jewels.
So you guys can find me on Instagram at Gianni_Bansfield, or you guys can find me on Facebook at Gianni Bansfield. I'm originally from Mass. I currently reside in Atlanta, and I'm just on this journey of personal development, entrepreneurship. I'm in network marketing. So if you guys are out there and wanting to know what network marketing is, interested, DM me, let me know, and I'll be gladly to give you guys some information on it, just to get just a little education.
That's what I'm talking about. So please get in contact with Gianni to take advantage of that opportunity, and she can definitely lead you in the right direction. Right now, we are live on YouTube, so make sure you hit that subscription button. And to those who watch, listen, and support DBDS, we just want to say thank you so much, and we're extremely grateful. So with that being said, it is time to bring our guest into the studio. All right. and I am ready for this show, Signs of a Great Woman. So the first one coming into the DBDS Live studio, she was here before, my sister T. Welcome back to DBDS Live. How you doing today, my sister?
Hey, good. How you doing, Mel? Hi, Gianna. Happy Mother's Day.
Hi.
Hey, happy Mother's Day.
Happy
So
Mother's Day.
Absolutely. So we do have some new viewers checking into the DBDS Live program. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Well, I'm originally, from New Haven, Connecticut. Now residing 5 years in Charlotte, North Carolina. I love to give good gems and good jewels as I receive them. And anytime you'd call, I'm always going to pop on and share some great insight. And today's topic was a no-brainer. I had to be here. Had to be here.
Absolutely. Man, and listen, my people, she is so amazing. The knowledge that she possessed, the wisdom. Thank you for coming back to DBDS Live. We greatly appreciate it.
Sure.
And coming back into the DBDS Live studio, actually, there's really no introduction because he is part of the DBDS family, is my brother, life coach Carl. What's going on, brother? What's good?
What's up, brother Mel? Happy Mother's Day to you, Gianni and T. Both
Thank
of y'all.
you.
And all the women, mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to y'all.
Absolutely. So, my brother, we got some new viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Tell the new viewers who you are and why you're on the show today.
My name's Carl, and originally from New York, residing in North Carolina right now. I'm a life coach, entrepreneur. I've sold several businesses. I got another business launch coming up. Forex trader, crypto person. If you want to get some inside information on how to get into that stuff, you can hit me up. My IG is called The Coach. And if you're interested in getting a session to I also offer a free first session if you want to enhance your life and begin to grow. You can reach out to me that way also. I specialize with men, but I can work with women, and I do. And I do work with couples with that. So, and I'm back on the show, man. Just like I said, we got to, just taking life experiences on the journey that I've experienced to give that to others, and the feedback I get from other people to be able to give that out there to help other people to grow and keep things moving, man. To build these healthy relationships.
Absolutely. And this is why it is great to have you on the show, to have your perspective on things, because we need that. We need to expand our network in order to bring the positive message out there to our people. Okay. So our primary focus on this show today is to recognize the amazing qualities our sisters possess, because too many of our brothers allow the beauty to be enough and end up with someone who does not have sustainable traits. And just to give you a short list of sustainable traits, I'm referring to a woman who's respectful, nurturing, non-combative, loyal, one who possesses high integrity, just to name a few. But before we get deep with this anonymous show today, we have anonymous section where people post their thoughts, their issues, and they look for us to guide them in the right direction. So I'm going to come to my brother Carl to read the letter. Take it away, Carl.
DBDS letter. Hello, DBDS family. So today, my man and I hit 10 months of being together. The only thing that is getting to me is that I was thinking how him and I never had a date. See, we've known each other for about 8 years before dating. And about 3 years ago, we told each other how we felt about each other. And finally, we were able to be together. But part of me is really stressing about the fact that we never had our first date. Can someone tell me I'm wrong for how I feel?
Okay. Wow. Very good letter. I think this is like one of our first letters that was very short. But thank you for reaching out. Doesn't matter if it's short, doesn't matter as long. We're here to help you. All right. So first, I am coming to my sister T. What advice you have for our sister?
Well, I found it I think I've kind of been there before, where you start dating one of your friends and you kind of don't really go through the dating piece of it where you're being courted, because you're just with your best friend. It feels like you're with your your homie, lover, friend, type of thing. So sometimes those things do kind of get overlooked. But if you don't speak up, he's not going to know, and vice versa. So I feel like maybe she feels like, wow, he's just taking it, taking me kind of for granted a little bit. But in the flip side, I think she should just, speak up and say, hey, babe, I think all women like to hear, babe, get dressed. I got something planned for us. Or, and they put detail, pay attention to detail and execute. Women want men to execute, and we don't want to, I don't like hints. So I'm not going to drop them. If it's something I want, I'm going to ask. But we love it. Oh, we love it when men can pay attention and kind of know and be like, I haven't taken my woman out. Let me tell her, go ahead and get dressed. And 7:00, I'm making reservations. And we're going to go ahead and, hit the town. I mean, we love that kind of stuff. Now, a date to different people mean different things. So he might be thinking that he's dating her. We've been together this long. Ain't broke, don't fix it. You know how that goes. But I think if she speaks up, I think he will rise to the occasion. That's what I think.
And then before I go to call and Gianni, what if he doesn't rise to the occasion, T? What if he continues to be inconsistent and don't take her out on a date? What will you then advise her?
Ooh. How important is that for her? Because some people that might be a deal breaker for her.
Okay. Very well said. Thank you for your insight. I'm coming to my brother Carl. What are your advice for the sister? What's your advice for the young sister?
I think T said, I think they've gotten comfortable. You get there, you got a friend, you're just hanging out, and it just goes to the next level without even realizing you're there and you're a couple. And I guess that'd be the next question. If you're counting the days, saying you hit 10 months, does he know it's 10 months? Does he know that he's in a committed relationship truly with you? So he understands that, hey, this is, that might be why you haven't gotten that date that you're looking for, that, let's go out and do this. And he makes it official type of date. So, again, speak up about that and talk to him, make sure y'all are on the same page, have that communication comprehension conversation. So, you're not on a different page than he is from this standpoint, but, and again, like you said, if it's not broke, he might not want to fix it. He may just be happy where y'all at. And he's loving it. He's growing with you and he wants us to go. So, but still have that conversation, and, I pray it works out.
Okay. Very well said. Great insight. Coming to my sister, Gianni, how can we help our sister out? What will you say to this sister?
I think I'm gonna piggyback off of what T said. Like, I just feel like it's just a simple, hey, we've never really went on a date. Let's just go on a date. I think to keep a relationship going, you have to have date night. There's no, you can't go, like, you guys go, he has his work, you have your work, maybe y'all got kids or he got kids, you got kids. It's a lot going on. And I feel like it's important for couples to have date night, to have their night. And it's not, oh, you guys got to go out to eat every night. Maybe you guys say, hey, babe, let's sit back. I'm going to make a nice dinner. Let's watch a movie. It all depends on what type of date night you want. You know what I mean? And just keep it spontaneous. Do it once a week if you can, or do it once a month. I think that's very, very important. So say it, that it doesn't hurt. And you know what? Honestly, going off of what Mel said, if he doesn't want to go on a date night, then maybe you need to like reevaluate and start thinking about like, what are you guys doing? Where are you guys going with this? Because I think that's important. You know what I mean? It keeps the relationship spicy.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. I'm coming from a different angle. I think there's a lot of holes missing in your letter, my sister. So I can't really give you a concrete answer. I can only provide you with a hypothetical answer. But when I listen to your letter, you mentioned 10 months without a real date. And the first thing that comes to my mind is that your standards are pretty low if you lack effective communication. Now, I know the pandemic has changed the way we maneuver and the way we communicate towards each other. But you have to, like all my other my DBDS people stated, you have to express yourself that you're the kind of woman who prefers to be courted, and if his actions and words are not congruent, then it should be a process of elimination. Because either you're going to accept him for how he is, this type of man, or you're not going to accept it. And this is why I always state that logic should always be the main factor whenever you get to know someone. Yes, emotions are important, so just to see the chemistry factor. But if there's no moral codes, which is your personal relationship principles, and not allowing your emotions to override your logic, then it's going to create high emotional intelligence. So that way you can tell somebody based on your standards that, listen, this is the kind of woman I am, as I stated, and I like to be courted. Some way you'll express that in a feminine way. So I would say moving forward, I agree with everyone. Have a nice conversation with him. And if he doesn't compromise or make excuses to court you, then sadly, you may have to just take a step back, separate yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. So that way you can prepare yourself for the right man to come into your life that will treat you the way you want to be treated, the courting, the everything. All right. So again, thank you so much for your letter, and we greatly appreciate it. All right. My girl G just disappeared, but she'll be back, So we're going to keep the show rolling and flowing. The first subtopic that we're going to talk about, because again, happy Mother's Day. This is dedicated to our sisters out there. But before we come back, this is something we never done on DBDS, but we got skills. I'm going to bring Gianni back. Boom. There she goes. All right. Now we're going to... All right. So now we're going to... My sister back. So we're going to go ahead and continue with the flow. So the first topic that we're going to touch on, which I think is such a great sign of a great woman, is she embraces her feminine state. All right. So let me size this up. And I think this is a beautiful picture to this beautiful couple here. So my thing is that first, let me lay out what feminine energy is, or what it means for a woman to be in her feminine state. So to me, feminine energy is all about opening up to receive love. It's creative energy. It's about bonding and allowing the other person to lead. As T stated, execute, lead, So a woman who is in her dominant natural essence is nurturing and definitely should not be overlooked. So I'm coming to my sister T. Would you consider this trait a good sign? And if so, what are your thoughts? Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh, I think all those are great qualities. I think a woman being in her feminine state knows when to be the calm in a storm, when to just be a ear when your partner just is venting. And I still learn if I should give advice or if I should just be listening. It's always still a learning process. And especially, I feel like, we as being natural, nurturing beings, we always just want to fix it, but just being a team player, a helpful mate, knowing how to accent your partner's weaknesses and building on those things so they become stronger to lead. I kind of feel like not everybody's watched women be feminine in the way that they're soft. Men don't want a hard woman, and they don't want to deal with that kind of female. So I think it's important to, I'm being, single for so long, and then in a relationship and that kind of stuff, you learn more about yourself and then also the partner that you're with. So in some situations, I found myself having to lead more. And then when you get with a man that doesn't need that, he's a alpha male and I'm an alpha female. It's like, you had that, you lead now. Okay, great. I got your back. It makes a woman want to be soft. It makes a woman want to just relax because they have that partner that's going to be the strength. But knowing how to be the opposite and being soft and, loving and nurturing, because not a lot of men got that growing up either, so
Right.
it's a lot that goes into it. But as far as being a woman and having those qualities, I think those are great like top tier qualities to have as a woman looking to be a wife.
Okay. To say TMZ, but what she stated was fire. Okay. I'm coming to my brother Carl. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Well, T started to go down this path of saying, men don't want masculinity. Men are not going to bump heads with someone in their own home, and they want that feminine trait. And again, just you look at some guys, they may never have gotten that, seen that feminine side too, or gotten that nurturing growing up.
Right.
But that feminine side, it's attractive. It's attractive, but it's attractive to grown, mature kings, not playboys that want to run around and just smash and dash. You'll see through that. But a grown, mature king is going to understand. He's going to see that feminine trait not as a weakness, but as his strength. See, that femininity creates creativity. See, women were taught to be creative. That's why God gave them the ability to give birth to life. So if you have a woman who's feminine and a man who's masculine, and you put them together, life is going to be created out of that, and it's going to grow. And so you can't have two masculine things going back and forth. It's not going to work. It's going to be like two rams butting heads the whole time. So I say this to women who feel like you got to be masculine. You don't. You can be independent, have all your own stuff, and still be feminine. And when you're dating, this is a free nugget. When you start dating, don't say, he needs to prove that he needs to lead. Let that man lead and give him some guidance when he needs it so that he can do what he needs to do. But if you're constantly pulling at him because you're holding on to that masculine part, he can't guide. He can't lead. It's like a horse. You keep turning him. He's trying to go the direction he's used to going and knows what he needs to do, but you're pulling him in a way that you want to go. It's not going to make that relationship work. So that feminine quality is absolutely, it's attractive. It's sexy. It's a 7-carat ring type of proposal. I'm just trying to tell y'all.
Nizelle's.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. A grown, mature king will see that femininity and realize that that's what's going to help him. And I'm leaving with this. If you remember the movie Boomerang, and you had Robin Givens and Halle Berry, and you had Eddie Murphy, and he was an alpha male.
Classic movie, by the way.
Robin Givens was an alpha female, but she was wearing Eddie Murphy out like she was a man and he was a woman.
Yes.
But what Eddie needed as an alpha male, he needed someone who could bring out the nurturing and give him the calmness to his spirit and help him create his true mindset. And that's what Halle Berry gave him with her feminine trait.
Wow,
so think about that, ladies, when you decide to say you want to be masculine, when really, like I said, a man wants that feminine trait. Trust me.
Whew, damn fire. You want to talk about Eddie Murphy movies, man? I could talk about Coming to America, brother. If you want to go back and forth, my man went to Africa to pursue that woman, and that woman from what they call McDowell's. She was so soft and feminine, so beautiful and elegant. Please, man. I mean, if you want to go freestyle back to Fat Eddie, right. I'm coming. So I'm coming to my sister Gianni. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I think that was a great analogy that Carl brought up because it's so true. I feel like also too, when it comes to women's femininality, am I saying it right? Feminine state. I think a lot of women allow like the outside world to control how they act and everything in videos and Instagram and all these other things that influence us make it seem like it's okay to come off as a man, or it's okay to, just have all those man things. And it's just like, there's a difference between being strong, and holding your own and being like a man. It is very, very attractive because I remember when I was younger, I had said, even speaking like it, like street language, you know. No man wants to hear a woman be like, yo, what's up, my nigga?
Oh,
That's so unattractive.
yes.
Do you know what I mean? But women say it all the time. And it's just like, baby, can I record you and you come on this other side of the camera so you can see how you sound and how you look? Like, those are little things that make you look ugly, you know. And even the swearing, like, I know I have a potty mouth, and my husband tells me all the time, and I'm trying to get better with it. But even when I hear someone else swearing, it sounds so bad. So I feel like it is very, very important to just be elegant. You know, you have your time with your girls, and you guys can have a good time, and you know, do whatever you guys do. But there's a time and place to turn it on, turn it off, but just be soothing. Absolutely. You know, and it is important if you're trying to become someone's wife. And I didn't naturally, as a mother, as women, I feel like we are naturally we have just this feminine touch to us. That's what God gave us, you know. So why fight it? Why battle it? So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Wow. I mean, this is why when you hear myths and titles such as "Act Like a Man and Think Like a Man," and sisters literally take that to heart and they start portraying themselves in different kinds of ways, it can really turn the opposition off. And I mean, I'm telling you, sisters, it's so attractive when you're in your feminine state. It's so attractive. I mean, me personally, I appreciate the natural order because a woman who's in her feminine state actually awakens the masculine spirit. And of course, that right man naturally gravitates towards this particular woman because she embraces the masculine capabilities. And another factor I feel that's important that we may be living out is the vulnerability, because I'll be the first to admit that, you know, I really don't prefer a superwoman who feels like she's so perfect that she cannot fail, or she feels like she has to kind of rescue me on a consistent basis. To me, that's defined as a mother and child relationship and not as a man and woman relationship. But a woman who is vulnerable, that understands that imperfection is perfection, this allows a man to lend his strength to that woman, to be her protector, to be her leader, to be her provider. And the reality is this creates sexual polarity, because if a woman prefers to be in her masculine state with a masculine man, as Carl stated, you know, the chemistry factor will decrease. It's no difference when compared to a positive and negative pole of your electrical outlet, or your car battery does not generate an electrical flow. And that's the force of attraction at work when a woman is in her feminine state. For example, her feminine touch. Man, listen, men, we crave that touch from an affectionate woman. So to me, listen, that's such an amazing trait to have. And that's a great sign. I'm telling you, brothers, you better not overlook. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Happy Mother's Day to all my sisters out there. This is DBDS. Sit tight.
Are you single? Do you know about DBDSsingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at DBDSsingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
All right. Welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with my sister Taneha, aka T, my sister Gianni, aka G, my brother Carl, aka C, and I am T. We freestyling. We're back. Happy Mother's Day to all my peoples out there. And listen, I just want to say that without our sisters out there doing their thing, you know, the great feminine woman, man, I don't know where we'll be. So thank you again. So before we continue, I'm going to just give some quick shout outs to people that have tuned in. Shout out to my sister Beatrice, Chanel, Sam, Noel, Emerald, such a beautiful name, Emerald, love it. Jess, Felicia, Miss Gus. I apologize if I mispronounce your names, my people. Teresa, my sister Sasha, thank you for tuning in. Nadia, Marquita, Alexa, Maria, my brother Jarvis, and my sister Daisha. Oh, Gary Gates, Denise Joyner, and others. Listen, if I didn't call your name, thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. So with that being said, we're going to keep this show going because it's getting really juicy, So the next subtopic that we're going to touch on here is she's respectful. Man, I cannot tell you, like, respect is the cornerstone to any relationship. So let me go ahead and size this up here. So my thing is that a woman who has this embedded in her character shows that she honors herself and therefore will attract a man who will honor her. And that's the most important element in a healthy relationship, because even when there's a disagreement, she will always respect her man, the right man, whether verbally or non-verbally. So I'm coming to my brother Carl. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Absolutely. Well, respect, number one, is a two-way street. It has to flow both directions for a relationship to work. But a mature woman who is feminine and is sexy and got it going on, who's respectful, again, is a prime queen. She's a prime catch for somebody to be with. If this man knows that he did whatever he confides in her, she's respectful of their conversations. She respects the four walls of their relationship. She's not going out the house and telling her mom and dad everything that he says, or every argument they get into, or she's not betraying him to her girlfriends and telling them everything that goes on within there, because everybody else doesn't respect your relationship the way that you should respect your relationship. So she's respectful with that. Again, I'm just keeping it real. If you have single girlfriends who are unhappy because they're single and bitter, and you're going to them about your man on something that can be a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10, they're gonna make it seem like a 10. And now they're saying stuff to her. Now you come back home and you're disrespectful to him because they got you hyped up by the time you got back home. It can go vice versa the other way too. But we're dealing from this way. But a woman who's respectful of her man and understands those things and respects herself when she's not around her man. She honors her man. She, when somebody approaches her, no, I'm happily involved. My man, let me get you a drink. No, that's fine. My man he's already supplied me with the money to get my own drink. Okay. So let me get that for you. My man has that already for me. There's nothing you can give me that my man can't give me. See, now you're building him up when he understands that you're out away from him, respecting him that way. Again, it's a way to a man's heart. Again, I'm saying a grown, mature. I'm not talking about the baby boys out here. I'm talking about grown, mature men. Right. That's going to open his heart to give you whatever you're asking for. And that, I'll leave it with this. When a man feels respected, he knows he's loved. A woman, let's see that. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah. A man feels, loved when he's respected. A woman feels respected when she's loved.
She's loved, yes.
So that's truly how we operate. Yes. So for some men, like I said, they'll marry a woman they're not in love with because they respect her. If she respects him and he respects her, he's willing to marry her because he can see the potential of building something together. There's a solid foundation there because that respect factor is there.
Woo. Okay, brother. And not just that, also, Carl, as you stated, not just respect to her man, but also, when she has respect for herself. Mm-hmm. Man, I love a woman that has respect for herself because that brings value to the relationship even more, brings more substance. I'm coming to my sister, Taneha, aka T. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
I have to agree with everything Carl was saying, and especially I think for speaking for myself, I've always held myself at a high regard and kept my value where it needs to be. And I think that speaks for itself. You can walk in a room and you command respect, just how you carry yourself. Um, Being respectful of yourself and your mate is huge. It should be mutual, but since we're talking about women, um, that is true. You know, the respect factor of intention. You know, when people get upset, they say things out of anger. Are you, downing and insulting your man? Are you uplifting him and say, this is probably not a good time that we talk about this right now? And this way you keep in the lines of communication, but let's put a pause on it. So now we're not saying things that we regret. And yeah, you should be a reflection of your mate. So if you're being respectful when you're not with your person, that speaks huge volumes, and vice versa. So I do believe that when you speak about respect, because again, like you said, the baby boys versus the grown men, respect is two different, means different things for different people. The way that she speaks to her man, the way that she still feeds her man when she's upset, or, she's still able to hold her head high, and not be petty and, tick for tack and those things. Men deal with that on a regular basis, just like we do. But again, since the topic is about women, I feel like we should be respectfully challenging our men, but also uplifting them. And I think they respect that. They don't want the women that are pushovers and that they can just run. They will never respect you. So you have to keep your standards to a certain level, and at the same time keep your value, high and in high regard for yourself. Your self-respect is first. How you respect yourself is what causes men to respect you.
I'm leaving the studio. Nice. Well said, my sister. Well said. Whew, man. I'm coming to my sister Gianni. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
So I'm piggying off of what T said. Like, it starts with yourself. Like, for real, for real. If you do not have respect for yourself, no one is going to care. If someone's gonna walk all over you and be like, I don't care about that person, so I definitely feel like respect yourself first, and that person will follow after. You know what I mean? Because you allow certain things into your life. You allow what you want into your life. So you can say, I'm going to allow this person to disrespect me, or I'm going to not allow this person to disrespect me. And depending on what road you go, that person then looks at you in a certain light. And you now can move differently. But if you go down that road of, you can disrespect me, it ain't gonna be the first, second, third, fourth. It's just gonna keep happening. And you do it with one person, next thing you know, it ends up happening to just be multiple people now that you're allowing to disrespect you. So I say, like, really, it starts, I always say it always starts with you first. Respect yourself first, because then you can then put it, like what do they say when you're younger? Treat others how you want to be treated. So if you want someone to respect you, you got to respect someone else back. You can't think like, oh, you can disrespect this person and then you expect this person to respect you back. It just doesn't work like that, and I feel like also too, people have that mindset of they look at people like beneath them sometimes when it comes to a disrespect. And I feel like that's so messed up. Like, if we look at each other as one, we wouldn't be so disrespectful, because I think when respect comes from like, oh, you're like, depending, like T said, there's different types of level of respect depending on how you look at it. Somebody can look at you and say, just because you're younger than me, I don't need to respect you. But it's like, you do need to respect that person. You know what I mean? So we're talking about women, but I think it's very, very important to be a respectful person all the way around, because with the respect, you give respect, you gain respect, and people will just flow to you. You know what I mean? It's just something that will come natural, and people will know not to disrespect you, honestly. That's my call.
Rocket science. Listen, I'm coming back to my brother Carl. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, just real quick. And I shared kind of last week we talked about if you're going to be one unit as a woman, if you have a man who's disrespecting you, you're supposed to be one with him. So how are you one with someone who's disrespecting you? How are you his rib? If you're dating this person with the potential to marry, and that body is disrespecting you, it's rejecting you, how are you one with that? That it means you're not the rib for that body. Wow. You know, and we can flip it around, you know, the other way. Again, we're talking about women, but as a man, if that rib is disrespecting you, then that's not your rib. That's not your body part that God gave you. So we need to think about that. We're supposed to be one with one another to become one. You can't disrespect yourself. And that's what you're doing. When you're disrespecting your own body when you're one by disrespecting your spouse, your partner.
Okay. I'll take it a step further. You know, these women that accept in these positions as side pieces, they're not rib, they're coleslaw. They're coleslaw, you know, the side, you know, like mac and cheese. So I'm gonna go ahead. So we're gonna.
Why you had to say mac and cheese? I like mac and cheese. No, just kidding.
Like mac and cheese? Okay. So before I give you my 2 cents, we have Carl's amazing mother. Happy Mother's Day to your mom's, Carl. Here she goes. I'll have you read a comment, Carl.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. She said we should
something else like Oprah.
We should surround ourselves with women like us. Married can't hang with so many single women. I'm in a different place than my single female friends. Respect myself so I can receive the respect I deserve.
Agree with Mom. Happy Mama's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
Wisdom all around, man. I see where you get it from, Carl. Wisdom, brother. Man. All right. So my thing is, I always say that true beauty lies in a woman's behavior. So I tell my brothers, if you come across a sister who's respectful all around, then she's definitely a keeper. For one, she knows how to carry herself and gains attention without even trying, compared to the thirsty sisters who takes consistent backshot photos for short-term validation. That alone, I could write a whole book on how a woman leaves the rest to a man's imagination, which can gravitate a good quality man towards that sister who respects herself and others around her. And I think that drives us crazy, because when a woman's respectful, I mean, it's mysterious, it's intriguing, which makes us keep coming back for more in a good way, not in a stalkish way. But, you know, sadly, a lot of our sisters lost the art of seduction, and a lot of sisters are more aggressive these days. For example, if you look at the average Facebook profile, a man can almost find everything he needs to know about her based on what she's posting. I mean, he could pretty much get a sense of her character based on what she says, how she communicates, what kind of videos she's posting, what does she promotes. And truthfully, so in my opinion, social media is an extension of that particular person. And if she justifies this as entertainment only, which is only a poor excuse, then that extended version of herself is a fake. And no high quality brother wants to be with a fake woman, or one whose primary focus is to seek short-term validation from other men, which illustrates my point that, again, if you come across a respectful woman, and especially one who's your peace and not your headache, man, that is such a great trait to have. And I salute my sisters out there that have that amazing trait. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take another commercial break. This is Great Topics. Happy Mother's Day to my sisters. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight, my peoples.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here where mask wearing, where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How did we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, explosive experience.
What up, my people? Welcome back to the DBDS live show. That was my brother, Captain Hunter, and his podcast. So make sure you go out there and support him. He talks a lot about politics, what we need to do to get together, police reform, everything. So if you want something that's intellectually challenging about police reform politics, please check him out as well. But we're back. Welcome back to DBDS Live. My sister G, T, C, M. And we are just dropping down some great nuggets. Also, at this time, if my peoples want to call in, we do have a number that you can dial. That is 860-365-9710. I'll go ahead and put it on the screen right quick. Again, if you want to call in, drop a comment, ask a question. That is 860-365-9717. So we're going to go ahead and touch on our last topic of today's show, which is based on Signs of a Great Woman. So the last topic that I want to touch on that should never be overlooked and is extremely attractive with a sister is she maintains her standards. Man, shout out to my Michelle Obamas out there, my Angela Rye's, my Claire Huxtables, all you sisters, my Sade's, all my sisters that maintain their standards. That is sexy. Ooh. So let me go ahead and size this up here. So my thing is, a woman with standards is one who I would say possess personal relationship principles in which she will never allow anyone to cross those lines, and she possesses high integrity. And I believe that a woman of this magnitude will only make a man a better man and vice versa. Okay. So I'm coming to my sister T. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
I feel standards are number one. They set the boundaries for what you will and will not tolerate and allow. But it always, and again, it teaches and it helps people navigate how to approach you. If you're gonna be out here talking, drinking, and slinging drugs and that kind of thing, then hey, you know what? You're just one of the homies, and you're gonna be treated as such. But if you are carrying yourself, with high standards, you speak, from a place of love and lead from love, and basically just you will glow. I feel like when you have standards, you glow more, and I feel like people know how to receive what you say versus, if you just, like you said, Gianni was saying, people cussing and carrying on. That's your standard. I think your standard kind of just speaks for yourself, if that makes sense. A person 30 minutes in the room with you can probably tell what type of standards you have for yourself. As a verse, it can be a good standard to me. I feel like I possess good standards, and I do have my boundaries set in place. There's some wiggle room to allow people to air, but I feel like if you check them, whether it's professional at work or if you check someone in your relationship and say, hey, listen, I'm not sure what you used to. I'm not sure where you came from and where you got that, but that's unacceptable for me. And that pretty much will, eliminate the ones for you and the ones, like they say, standards and boundaries. They scare off and intimidate the wrong people, the right people, if that makes sense.
Okay. Very well said. T, I'll just hit you up with another question. So what do you tell some sisters out there that states like, hey, this is part of my upbringing. I'm 30, 40 years old, something. I never learned about standards. I mean, what will you say to a sister who has that way of thinking?
Well, I see a lot of that with some of the young ladies that I mentor, and a lot of it comes, like Gianni said, from TV and that reality life, and they feel like that, and it's like, no, you need to turn that off. Get your prayer life in order, because God is your father. So what you should be walking in alignment and pleasing to Him first and foremost. So the back shot pictures and the boobs out and the 2-piece and the twerking live on Facebook and that kind of stuff. If that's, and then you get upset when the man approaches you or in your DM asking you, can he smash? I mean, you just advertise what you were selling. It's no modesty in today's society. As far as I was brought up, you slip under the dress down past your knees. When you're in church, you put the handkerchief over your, I was brought up that way. Now, that don't mean I didn't have my fun. I'm a teen mom, my baby 29. But I can't say that I wasn't brought up. I had plenty of aunties, my grandma and my mom, that instilled certain qualities and standards, but it was my decision to step out of that. And when I stepped out of that, I stepped in poop, you see? But then you bring it back and you get yourself realigned and you start saying, well, how do I want people to see me? Do I want them to look at me and think I'm the next sexual vixen and porn star? Or do I want them to see me as a great quality woman that's raising children, that have standards, that knows how to keep a home? I know how to garden. I know how to cook. I know how to, make a man feel wonderful with my clothes on. Like, what do you want people to see when they see you? So it's too many podcasts about women empowerment, and YouTube that teach you how to, gain value, learn how to. Some women don't. These ladies, they can't cook. They're not in the kitchen.
I mean, they can boil hot dog though.
Well, that's not. Listen here. Well, you try to feed a man a hot dog after he worked 60 hours a week.
Okay.
Then let me know how that work out.
All right.
No, but you understand what I'm saying. I know. My suggestion would be to, spend some time reevaluating who they want to be, even if they're not there yet, and take the necessary steps to get there.
Okay. Thank you for answering my question.
Find some good quality friends and aunties, to mentor surround yourself in a good circle of good quality women, and you will become the next one.
Okay. Coming to my brother Carl, man, dropping fire, man. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I put my hands up. I was all what she was saying because
I thought you caught the I thought you caught the Holy Ghost, man, for a second.
Yeah, I was about to shout. I was like, "Hey, I'll take a lap. Take a lap through the church, pass the collection plate." But it's real what she's saying though, because you're going to attract what your standards are going to attract what they are. So if you have low standards, you're going to attract low men. If you have high standards, you're going to attract high men. And I know we get into this whole what's a high value man by this joker, on stuff that he got his stuff going. He does talk about good stuff, but a high value man ain't six figures. A high value man has character, integrity, loyalty. He's a king. He's going to take care of his queen. I can give you a whole list. Hit me up. I'll give you the list. My thing is this. That's what you want. You want high standards. And a man that's grown and mature, he wants a woman with standards. Because if you don't have no standards, if I'm talking to you and I meet you, we can meet at Barnes and Noble, and you going to let me take you home and smash and get the chocolate chip cookies right after we just talked about a book. You have no standards. I'm not going to deal with you. You. I'm sorry. Right. Your ceiling is my floor, literally, on your standards. So I can't play with you on that. So if you're a woman who has high standards, keep them. Don't never let nobody tell you to get rid of your standards. What your standards should be your core, and it should be your core values of who you are, your internal core. That's where your standards should come from. And if you want to use, as Mel asked that question to T, I didn't grow up around this, so I didn't. There's too much positive knowledge out there. Too many good books. Too many positive people. Stop looking to the people who are willing to give you some demonic stuff that you want to play with. See, a lot of us sometimes we want to stay sick. We don't want to get better. We feel sympathy is better. We feel we can be sympathized and be the victim. Then woe is me. Everybody's going to love me. This man's going to do this. No, stop that. Stop that. Get you some help. Get away from that situation and break that generational cycle so that you can now teach your children how to have healthy relationships and how to have standards, your daughters to have standards. Because I'm telling you, for me, again, That's the 7-carat ring. You got standards, you're gonna get it. I mean, it's just what we are looking. I'm one of them looking. Mature grown men are looking for a woman with standards. Tell me what your standards are. And if he can't meet your standards, move on. He just couldn't do it. Because trust me, if your standards stay the same and he said he can do it, if he can't, he's gonna fall off the wagon real fast.
Big fact.
And those are the kind of brothers you want to fall off the wagon anyway. You know?
Right.
That's my thing. You know, some sisters just think like, man, you know, all these women doing the backshot videos and the backshot posts, I'm not getting enough attention as the sister that carries herself in a different magnitude. Where they don't realize is that those guys that's looking at those backshot photos, they're not saying you're pretty. They're looking at something else saying, you know, I want to smash chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to leave it right there. But I'm going to my sister Gianni. What are your thoughts on this topic? Oh, can't hear you, G.
So, T and Carl kind of said it all. Can you hear me? Hello?
No, we can hear you.
Okay. So what I wanted to say was I wanted to Carl and T, they said everything. But what I wanted to bring back and for the people is what T said as far as, do you guys really sit back and reevaluate? Do you guys really sit here and think to yourself and say, why am I getting treated this way? Why is this happening to me? There has to be something within you that's not right or is not going the way you want it to go. And also too, there was the moral part. I feel like a lot of people don't have morals and values. And a lot of people are like, what are morals and values? And that's even sad that people don't even know what that is. And it is very, very important to have that, because sometimes I feel like people take it and get defensive when someone says, this is what I expect, or these are my standards. And listen, if you don't like it, you could go. There's nothing wrong. We need to stop being so damn sensitive. Okay, because there is nothing wrong with someone setting standards. You want that. You want someone to set standards. And it's with anything and everything. You know what I mean? And it's as simple as for instance, if you have a home and you allow people to come into your home and just throw their feet up on your couch. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Like letting people come into your home, throw their shoes everywhere, throw their clothes off, and just lounge. And it's just like, what are you doing? It's the same thing as life, you know what I mean? As us as women, you know, having standards, saying, you know, it's okay when you meet a man and say, listen, I don't sleep on the first night. I actually don't sleep with people for like 3 months or whatever it is your standards are. And if he can't respect that, then guess what? That he's not for you. You know what I mean? If you give someone or you say something and they just can't respect it, that blatantly right there. They just can't. It's just not meant to be. Another thing was, I feel like we have this intuitive feeling inside. Okay, so I'm gonna go off of what Mel said in the sense of when he told T, what if they say I've been raised that way or I didn't get raised or whatever. We naturally, God has put in us, okay, other senses that we naturally have inside, and we know when something's not right. You know when something's not right. You know when, you know, it just doesn't feel right. It's just out of whack. It's just, so I don't want to hear the excuse of, oh, I didn't get brought up with that, because I guarantee you came across a situation in life where you knew that right there was right. Something about that situation was right. So guess what? You just got to find a way to get that. And that finding a way to get that is finding who you are inside, finding out what morals are, what values are, what you stand for, how you respect yourself, how you love yourself. And within just finding yourself, you then you find a relationship with God. Okay. And then honestly, things start to fall in place. Like, it may seem like a lot, but honestly, like, once you start finding solely, all I say is find yourself. By you finding yourself, you're going to find God, and things are going to stand in line, and everything flows after that.
Ooh, very well. I'm telling you, man, those standards. Before I come back to my sister T, man, what really got me attracted to my wife is, and she said it with a smile. She was like, "Listen, I'm not the type of woman to sleep around. I don't do the friends with benefits things. If you're not the kind of man that's not talking about building or mortgage or having a substantial life based on those particular things, those are my standards, then we could be cordial and that's about it." I said to myself, one word, damn. And I said to myself, she's the one. All right. So I'm coming to my sister T. What else you want to add, my sister?
So that thing that Gianni was talking about it's called discernment. Oh. That's that intuitive that you don't understand. You're like, nah, wait a minute. This don't feel right. And as far as having the standards, it's basic. It's how do you want to be treated? You want the door, you go on a date, you want to be treated. Yeah, he should get the door for you. He should pull your chair out when going out and let you sit down first. And maybe you might say, do you want me to pray or you want me to pray? It's just, it should feel good. That's what your standards. It just should feel good. You shouldn't feel disrespected, and you shouldn't feel like you're not being treated. Like, most of us have a sibling or a big brother type, and that person holds you under their wing. They protect you. They care for you. They make sure you good. You need anything. When you walk across the street, they're not pushing you out in front of the traffic, but they looking to make sure there's nothing coming. That's the type of man and standard you should have for yourself. If you with a man and he's cussing you out and calling you everything under the sun, and he doesn't see any value in it, you're going to know the difference. But a lot of us, before you were able to see and feel that, we probably all kissed the frog and been with someone that didn't treat us right. And then when you get the one that does, you're like, dang, I must have been really settling. You know what I mean? You can tell the difference. You really
that's what I was going to say. It's a life journey. It's a life journey that you go through, and you'll find yeah.
But that's true. Like Mel said with his wife, if you're a certain age, you should be dating to marry anyway. You should be dating with a purpose. No one should be friends with benefits. I mean, unless you just don't really care about your cookie, go on, or your stick, go on, But if you care about yourself and you want longevity with someone, and you yearn to have a loving, healthy relationship, yeah, you're right. You should be saying, listen, I'm not really and a good man, he gonna know that you're wife material. Yes. Just by how you carry yourself. You don't even have to say it.
Absolutely.
And the ones that's not ready will get
another bomb when you finish. Anyway, go ahead.
I said the one that's not ready will get ready.
There we go. That's gonna be fire. Oh man, very well said. Very well said. Well, before I we go to one last commercial break, I'm just gonna ask one last question to my peoples, and I'll go to Carl first. So, what if a sister states like, "Hey, he loves me enough. He's going to change." Like, she puts up with the disrespect and everything like that. She'll be like, "You know what? He's going to change."
No, he's not.
I mean, I know that's low standards, but what you say to this?
I'm just gonna keep it real. He is not going to change.
Okay.
And it's not going to happen. I'll give you a case in point. I know someone who was like, I'm gonna marry him. He was doing all types of stuff before they got married. I told beforehand, it's not gonna last more than 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
You're gonna be stuck with a kid. Literally coming up on the 3rd year, they were separated, going through a divorce, and she was stuck with the job. He was not going to change. You know, if he's not going to respect you dating, he's not going to respect you as his wife, because he doesn't see you as a wife. He's just marrying you to shut you up.
Ooh. Yeah. So you're saying, before I go to Gianni and T, you're saying standards have to be set up from the get-go. It can't be like, oh, he's going to change. And
don't adjust your standards. If you adjust your standards, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Gotcha.
Don't ever lower your standards. There may be some things that you may look at that are kind of compromisable because we're two different types of people coming into things and stuff, but your core standards, no cheating, no lying, certain things like that. If they're not respecting those things, then they're not gonna change for you. They'll change just to lock you down because they don't want nobody else to have you, and then they're gonna keep doing it. And all you're gonna do is be hurt, broken pieces, and somebody else got to come along and put you together.
It's the same thing to G right quick. I mean, if a sister be like, you know what, he'll change, you know, and they putting up with all the infidelity and everything like that. I mean, what will you say? What will you say to a sister like that? You know,
honestly, it's actions. Actions is what speaks loud. Someone can sit here and talk to they're blue in the face. And if their actions does not show what they're talking, they're never going to change. And people got to understand. And I only say this just because I've been in a situation where I was physically abused in my early 20s, where I used to say all the time to myself, oh, he's going to change. Oh, I'm going to give him another chance. Oh, he's going to change. It don't change. It's not going to change. Who has to change is you. That bottom line, that's who has to change. It's not that person. You need to leave that person, and you need to change and find what's better for you. You know what I mean? Because if you're expecting this person to change, baby girl, baby boy, it ain't gonna happen. They gotta want to change. They gotta want it in their mind, body, soul. For real. You cannot, and that is probably the hardest thing, and people don't listen to it over and over. You cannot change a person. You may be able to guide a person if they want to learn, if they're coachable, but that is not up to you. That is not up to you. And I tell people that all the time. It is not up to you to change a person. Please, please, please stop. I've been there a couple times. You can't change a person. Only work on yourself. And I keep saying, I promise you, it's going to fall in your lap. It will.
Come to my sister T before to go to a commercial break. I mean, what will you tell a sister that just think that person could change over time and putting up with all this nonsense?
I'm always playing devil's advocate with that one because I've seen people change, and I've seen people want to change, but you first, like being, an addict, you got to first admit that you have a problem that you need to change from. So I feel like work without faith without work is dead. And like G said, if you want to just, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, that's fine if you have time to listen and just have, just listen and keep believing that without seeing any actions. But like a person saying that they know they need to heal and they need to do this, but then they're not seeking a change or therapy or whatever it is that they need to, you got to put the work in. That person has to put the work in. I think as women, we're naturally want to be fixers. We're moms. We want to fix this. The baby's crying. Let me make her be quiet. Let me give her a bottle. Let me soothe. That's just our natural being. But when you have standards and you value yourself, you're not going to stick around and tolerate disrespect, abuse, or any of that kind of, situation. And so it comes to a place where you have those hard, difficult conversations and say, listen, this is not working. This is not what I signed up for. And if you want us to continue, then I'm going to need you to put the work in and change these things. And I'm going to have to see it to believe it, because you can't sit here time it. Like, people are dropping off this earth like nobody's business. You could talk to me now and I might not be here tomorrow. So how much time do you have to keep wasting and waiting on people to change that may not ever change? Some people are just who they are going to be. And I think the quicker people realize that and stop putting their life on hold and waiting for other people to rise to the occasion, you know, like I said, if somebody sees your value and they see you as an asset and they truly believe that they can change, they will put the work in and they will do it. But it's going to be their feet, their mind, their hands, their work. You can be a support for them, an ear for them, but they physically and mentally and spiritually have to do the work so that they can become a whole, healthy person. That's what you want. You want a whole, healthy person to be in a life partnership with. That's it.
All right. All right. So we're taking one last little commercial break. Thank you for staying over time with us. This was just such a great conversation. I did not want it to end. I know people got Mother's Day food ready, banana pudding, whatever have you. But listen, when we come back, we're going to hit you guys with our Jerry Springer moment. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm your host, Mel Money, with my sister Gianni, my sister T, my brother Carl, and we just been chopping it up. Awesome conversation. And to my people who tune in, make sure you tell your friends and loved ones to go to DBDS Live, which is our YouTube channel, so you can subscribe and be notified when we go live. And by subscribing to our channel, this will expand our network to get the message out to the masses that we need to establish more healthy relationships. To everyone that does that already, we are grateful. Thank you so much. Once again, happy Mother's Day. And now it is time for our Jerry Springer moment. So I am coming to my sister T. Give the people who's watching your final thoughts.
Final thoughts, morals, ethics, standards. Who are you to the core? Reevaluate those things and don't lower your standards for anyone. Make them rise up to them.
Okay. Boom. There you have it. Short and sweet. Now I'm coming to my brother Carl. What are your final thoughts for the show?
Just keeping it real, women. Just if you're trying to attract a man, you want to get married, learn to embrace your feminine state. Maintain the respect for yourself. And as T said, keep your standards where they're at. If the man don't meet the standards, then he's not for you. They said, the Bible says the man that finds a wife, he finds a good thing. But he's got to really be a husband to be able to find that, and you got to be a wife for him to find that also. So if you maintain your standards, the respect about yourself, and that femininity, trust me, there are mature grown men out there who will come to you, not your game players. They're going to come at you and they're going to do what they need to do from the giddy up. And like I said, just step back, let them lead, give them a little guidance. Trust me, those are the type of brothers you want in your life.
Absolutely. Well said, my brother. And lastly, I'm coming to my DBDS sister Gianni. What are your final thoughts for today's awesome show? Oh, Gianni, we can't hear you.
Sorry.
There you go.
My final thoughts are basically keep your standards, keep your morals, love yourself. And there's nothing wrong with letting a man lead. There really isn't. I can say that through my own experience. I felt a certain way. And it's just through our life and our journeys in life. But, you don't want to you don't want to become something that you're not, meaning like have the men tendencies, because then you're blocking your blessings. You know what I mean? We are feminine. We're meant to love and to cater and to nurture. That's what we are meant to do. Yeah, we could get a little rough around the edges, but who can't? So just love, nurture, and keep it moving forward.
Love it. Love it. And once again, thank you to this amazing panel. We always dropping fire. And to everyone that have missed the show, tell your loved ones, go to YouTube to DBDS Live. And happy Mother's Day again to our sisters who possess these traits. And my final thoughts are, a woman who embraces her feminine state is one who doesn't fight against nature and work her tail off to convince her brother that he should be attracted to her based on modern society's definition of what feminism is. Instead, a woman who embraces her feminine state accepts nature and works on developing her feminine qualities, which will attract a masculine man. Not only is this considered great when a woman possesses this way of thinking, but it also means that she is bride worthy and prepared to accept her position as a worthy companion to the right man. Right. So once again, thank you again. Happy Mother's Day and much love to the DBDS family. Now, can somebody please send me off?
Mel, take it away.
I think that's
Happy Mother's Day.
favorite part of his show.